Hey, howdy ho, everybody. This is Postmortem Nightshade, and this weekend, the big release is You, Me, and Tuscany. This throwback rom com stars Halle Bailey and Regé Jean Page and was directed by Kat Coiro. If I was to describe this film, I would say that it is Monte Carlo meets Letters to Juliet, with a slight inspiration from When Harry Met Sally. You have the Monte Carlo element, with a lie facilitating our lead actress to have an amazing romantic experience in a faraway country. Then there is the Letters to Juliet inspiration, where our main character goes to Italy to better discover herself and runs into a man who is rough around the edges but is inevitably the love interest. And finally, you have both of our characters starting off as kind of rude to eventually grow into a better version of themselves because of their relationship with one another, which is, of course, very similar to When Harry Met Sally. This film is a very paint by the numbers romantic comedy, and it hits all of your standard rom com story beats. And because of that, the dialogue at times did feel very cliche. The first act of this film also felt kind of awkward and stilted, but thankfully it picked up and found its stride in the second and third act. In the last two-thirds of the film, we get a wider cast of characters that really enrich the story, and this is actually where most of the laughs came from for me. The two leads were great and worked well together within the limits that they were given in this film. I also thought they had pretty good chemistry. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was adequate for what the movie was trying to accomplish. The film runs at 1 hour and 45 minutes, which thankfully is not too long, and this movie is very well paced, so it doesn't ever feel like it drags either. The score, soundtrack, set design, and wardrobe were all good as well, and their cohesion really enhanced the summer feel of this movie. Something that did annoy me in this film, though, was there is this new stereotype that is showing up in pretty much every kind of movie, every genre, and that is the obnoxious Gen Z character that is trying to be an influencer. And unfortunately, we do have one in this film, but thankfully they didn't give him too much screen time. Also, for a town that was supposed to be overflowing with people because of the summer festival, there definitely didn't seem to be that many people around town, but whatever. Honestly, I had a funny thought after I left this film, which is that Marty Supreme feels like the direct antithesis to this movie. Where in Marty Supreme, his lies get bigger and bigger, and for him, they have more and more dire consequences. While in this film, everything works out okay and romance prevails, even though the lead character in this film also tells huge lies throughout the whole movie, she does get everything to work out for her in the end, which is honestly just the perfect example of how genre really does matter. In a romance genre, it doesn't really matter what leads up to the film. You're going to get your happily ever after. Whereas in a drama thriller like Marty Supreme, you never know how the end is going to pan out. So, at least you can know for this film, you're going to be safe in knowing that you're going to get a happy ending. I also have heard a lot of people complain about the loss of the rom-com genre. However, I think it is important to ask, do audiences actually still want to see rom-coms? Or, at this point, do they feel too generic and predictable, where audiences are wanting something that they aren't familiar with? And can any modern day rom-com live up to the classics of the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, or is that an impossible task? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But on my scale, because I do love a good rom-com, this film just squeaks by into the hey Heidi alrighty category for me. But let me know in the comments, what did you think of You, Me, and Tuscany? Thank you everyone so much for tuning in, and if you'd like to follow along on my movie review journey, please like and subscribe, and I will see y'all very soon.